I, 28, all F, had been planning my wedding for over a year. Every detail was perfect, from the vintage lace on my dress to the white roses in my bouquet, but my sister showing up in a white lace wedding dress was a nightmare. Seeing my own father beaming with pride as he prepared to walk her down the aisle right behind me, that was the moment my world shattered. They thought it was their big moment to steal my spotlight. They had no idea it was the beginning of the end for them. This wasn't just about a dress. It was about a lifetime of betrayal, and I was finally ready to collect the debt. The morning of my wedding started like a dream. I was in the bridal suite, surrounded by my best friends and my wonderful mother-in-law. Mark, 30, Mmoada, my fiancé, had sent me the sweetest note saying he couldn't wait to marry me. Everything felt magical. The photographer was capturing every laugh, every happy tear. My hair was perfect, my makeup flawless. For once in my life, I felt like the princess I'd always wanted to be. The sun was streaming through the windows, and I could hear guests arriving downstairs. My bouquet sat on the table, pristine white roses mixed with baby's breath. Everything was exactly as I'd imagined it would be. Then Clara arrived. My sister Clara, 26, female, was supposed to be there 2 hours earlier for hair and makeup. She walked in carrying a garment bag, and I felt that familiar knot in my stomach, the one I always got when she was around. I pushed it down, telling myself this was my day and nothing could ruin it. She had this look on her face, this little smirk that I'd seen 1,000 times before. "Sorry I'm late," she said with that fake sweet smile she always wore. I had to pick up my dress from the dry cleaners. You know how these things go. She unzipped the bag slowly, almost like she was enjoying the suspense. Out came a floor-length white lace gown. It wasn't just any white dress. It was practically a wedding dress, with intricate beading and a small train. The bodice was fitted. The skirt flowed like silk, and there were even little pearl buttons down the back. My maid of honor gasped. My mother-in-law's face turned red with anger. One of my bridesmaids actually dropped her champagne glass. Before I could even speak, before I could process what was happening, my father walked in. He was dressed in his tuxedo, looking prouder than I'd ever seen him. His eyes went straight to Clara in her white dress, and his smile grew even wider. He actually clapped his hands together like this was some wonderful surprise. "Look at my two beautiful girls," he announced to the room. "I've decided I'm going to walk both of you down the aisle today. Clara deserves her moment too. We'll make it a family affair." The words hit me like a physical blow. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't Clara being clueless. This was planned. My own father had conspired with my sister to hijack my wedding day. They had discussed this, planned this, and thought it was perfectly acceptable. To understand why this betrayal cut so deep, you need to know our history. Clara had always been the golden child. From the day she was born, our father treated her like she could do no wrong. Meanwhile, everything I did was wrong, or not good enough. If I got straight A's, he'd ask why they weren't A+. If Clara got C's, he'd say she was creative and grades didn't matter. When I won the science fair, he missed it for Clara's dance recital where she forgot half her routine. When I was 16, I'd saved for months to buy a beautiful purple dress for my birthday party. I worked extra shifts at the ice cream shop, skipped lunches to save money, all for that one perfect dress. An hour before guests arrived, Clara accidentally spilled grape juice all over it. The stain was massive, right down the front, impossible to hide. I had to wear an old, faded dress that didn't fit right. When I cried, my father told me I was being dramatic and that accidents happen. Clara smirked behind his back, and I knew it was no accident. In college, things got worse. I was up for a major scholarship that would cover my final 2 years. I'd worked so hard, maintained a perfect GPA, volunteered every weekend. Clara spread a rumor that I'd cheated on an exam. She told people she'd seen me with answer sheets. It wasn't true, but the investigation nearly cost me everything. I had to fight for months to clear my name, provide evidence, get testimonies from classmates. When I confronted her, she cried to our father. He told me I was jealous of my little sister and needed to stop making up stories. He said I was trying to blame her for my own mistakes. After college, I thought things would get better. I started a small cafe with my father. I put in all my savings, every penny I'd scraped together. I worked 18-hour days, learned to bake from scratch, handle customers, manage inventory. I built it from nothing into something special. My father handled the books because he said I wasn't good with numbers. The cafe became successful, but he always reminded me that without him, I'd have nothing. He used that financial control to keep me in line, threatening to pull his support if I didn't do what he wanted. When Mark proposed, I thought I'd finally found my happiness. But Clara and my father hated him from day one. They said he wasn't good enough, wasn't from the right family, didn't make enough money. Never mind that Mark treated me like gold and loved me completely. He remembered every anniversary, brought me flowers just because, held me when I cried about my family. They criticized every wedding decision. The venue was tacky, the food was cheap, the decorations were ugly. The dress I chose was too plain, then too fancy, then too revealing, then too conservative. They offered no money to help, but demanded input on everything. They wanted to approve the guest list, the music, even the vows. Now, standing in that bridal suite, looking at their smug faces, everything clicked into place. This wasn't just about a dress. This was about control. This was about making sure I never had a moment that wasn't about Clara. Every achievement, every celebration, every moment of joy in my life had been overshadowed by her needs, her wants, her feelings. I pulled them both into a side room. My hands were shaking, but my voice was steady. I could hear my heart pounding in my ears. Clara, you need to go home and change. Now, I said. She laughed, actually laughed in my face. Don't be so dramatic. It's just a white dress. Besides, Daddy loves it. He helped me pick it out. We went to 3 different stores to find the perfect one. Those words. He helped me pick it out. My own father had gone shopping with my sister to find a wedding dress to wear to my wedding. They'd spent time, energy, and money to plan this humiliation. Your sister is right, my father said. Stop making everything about you. This is a big day for the family, not just you. I will not have you cause a scene. You're being selfish, as usual. As I looked at their smug faces, something inside me didn't break. It turned to steel. They wanted a scene. I decided right then and there I would give them a finale they would never forget. I walked out of that room without another word. They called after me, but I didn't stop. I found my maid of honor and pulled her aside. There's been a slight change in the ceremony, I said. Tell Mark's groomsmen to be ready. The music started. My flower girl walked down the aisle, then my bridesmaids. It was my turn. I started walking alone. Behind me, I heard commotion. My father and Clara were trying to follow, just as they'd planned. But Mark's 2 biggest groomsmen stepped into their path, blocking them completely. They were both over 6 feet tall and built like linebackers. I reached the front where Mark was waiting, looking confused but supportive. I took the microphone from the officiant. The entire room was watching. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming, I said. Before we begin, I need to make an announcement. My father was meant to give me away today, but it seems he's come to support a different wedding. Since he and my sister, Clara, felt it was appropriate to stage their own ceremony at my expense, I want to wish them well. But they will not be doing it here. As of this moment, they are no longer part of my life. The crowd gasped. Some people started whispering. I nodded to the groomsmen, who firmly escorted my red-faced father and my suddenly crying sister out of the venue. Clara tried to make a scene, but the groomsmen were having none of it. I could hear her screaming about her rights, about family, about love. But it was too late for that. Mark's mother stepped forward then. She took my arm with tears in her eyes. I would be honored to walk you the rest of the way, she said. The ceremony that followed was beautiful. Without the toxic cloud of my father and sister, I could actually enjoy it. Mark's vows made me cry happy tears. Our first kiss as husband and wife felt like freedom. The reception was perfect. People danced and laughed and celebrated our love, not family drama. The next morning, I blocked their numbers. I blocked them on social media. I sent one message to our extended family explaining exactly what happened and why I would never speak to them again. The responses were immediate. Aunts, uncles, cousins, all of them were disgusted. Most of them had seen Clara's behavior over the years, but never knew it was this bad. The following week, I met with a lawyer. I had documented everything about the cafe, every deposit I'd made, every hour I'd worked, every receipt I kept. Turns out I owned 75% of the business based on my capital contributions and sweat equity. My father had two choices: buy me out at market value or sell his share to me. He couldn't afford to buy me out. He'd been using the cafe's profits to fund Clara's expensive lifestyle. Designer clothes, luxury vacations, a car she crashed twice. So he had to sell. Within 6 months, the cafe was in foreclosure because he had no idea how to actually run it. All those 18-hour days I'd worked, he thought it was easy. The story of what they did at my wedding spread through our town like wildfire. Clara lost friends. She got passed over for a promotion at work because her boss said she couldn't trust someone who would do that to family. She tried to date, but guys would hear the story and run. My father's business connections dried up. People didn't want to work with someone who would sabotage his own daughter's wedding. He went from being respected to being gossip fodder. Their relationship soured too. Without me to blame for everything, they had to face each other. Clara blamed him for encouraging her behavior. He blamed her for being selfish. 3 years have passed now. Mark and I used my money from the cafe settlement to start our own business. It's twice as successful as the old cafe ever was. We bought a beautiful house with a garden where I grow my own herbs and vegetables. I'm 7 months pregnant with our first child, and Mark still looks at me like I hung the moon. My mother-in-law has become the mother I always wanted. She taught me to knit, and we're making baby blankets together. Mark's family embraced me completely. Every holiday is filled with laughter and love and absolutely no drama. Sometimes I get messages through other people. My father wants to reconcile. Clara wants to apologize. But boundaries matter. They showed me that my happiness meant nothing to them. Last week, I ran into an old family friend at the grocery store. She told me my father looks terrible. Clara still lives with him because she can't afford her own place. They're miserable and they miss me. I smiled and felt nothing but peace. They made their choice that day in the bridal suite. They thought they were stealing my spotlight, but they gave me freedom. Freedom from their manipulation, their gaslighting, their constant need to diminish me. I didn't just gain a husband that day. I gained a life without poison. And that is the sweetest revenge of all.